because you feel obligated to pay the debt that you actually owe, that's a different story. That's a totally different story. If you feel like I actually owe these people, they looked out for me when I needed them, I'm going to pay them back, then that's a different story. You could actually do both of those things at the same time, but make sure you get it to come off your credit report. Sometimes it's more difficult than it has to be, or sometimes it's just more difficult because they're not obligated to do this. They're not obligated to help bring it off your or to take it off your credit report. Actually, the law the law actually says that anything that is accurate should stay on your credit report. So oftentimes when we talk about all kinds of things, when we talk about removing late payments and things of that nature, by law, they're supposed to do reflect your credit report is supposed to reflect what's actually accurate, that it is true. So if you were truly 30 days late and you hit this late payment, technically it's supposed to stay on your credit report. But in business, people want to help out their customers and whatnot. So oftentimes they'll remove it from your credit report. So back to the collections part. So you want to negotiate, and part of your negotiation is to have them take it off your credit report. Some places are rather savvy, if you will, when it comes to this. So here's how the collection would go. They'll call you, you'll call them, and or whatever, and you talk. You owe them $1,000. When you call them, you owe them $1,000, especially if it's old. They only have 7 years to collect on you for it to stay on your credit report. They actually might have less time to collect on you, actually, because there is a statute of limitations. The statute of limitations means that this is the longest that they can collect on you. If they miss this boat of time to collect on you, then too bad for them. As far as your credit report is concerned, it's going to stay on there for 7 years from the first time you were delinquent. So you're not actually counting from when you see that collection hit your credit report, because it'll give you the date when it hits your credit report. It'll give you that date, so you'll know when it is. It's not 7 years from then. It's 7 years from when you became delinquent. So let's say it took Sprint 2 years, and I don't want to pick on Sprint, but let's say it took Sprint 2 years to get it to collections. So your collection at 7 years doesn't start when it actually hits your credit report. It actually started 2 years ago. So it's only can stay on your credit report for 7 years, and then it's going to automatically fall off your credit report. So what happens is, if it's older, you may be able to negotiate more because they're running out of time. They're running out of time. So if they're running out of time, they may be more apt to negotiate with you because they know if you get off the phone, they might not hear from you for another year. It might be another 2 years before they hear from you. So they're more apt to negotiate with you. So if you owe them $1,000, you call them up and say, I don't have $1,000. I've got $300 that I can pay for this particular debt, and let them say yay or nay. Now, when you throw out your figure, now make it a real figure. And when I say real, real to you, I mean this is money that you actually have, that you're actually willing to give up. This isn't monopoly money. This is your money. So it's money that you actually have, that you're actually willing to give up. Because if you don't follow through with this, then what they'll do is what will they do? They'll rescind the offer. They'll rescind the offer from you. So if you call them up and say, "Yep, I'll pay it. I'll pay it by the end of the month," what they'll do is they'll wait till the end of the month. When the month rolls over in the month of April, and you contact them on April the 3rd, then they may be like, "Nope, we're not going to do this deal because you didn't fulfill your promise." So that is what happens often when it comes to people not fulfilling their obligation on those things. So be ready and willing to pay when you say that you will, so they can fulfill their part of the bargain. And their part of the bargain is, we're going to take your $300 if that's what they agree upon, and we'll remove it from your credit report. So back to them being savvy. So a lot of places now, they're savvy, and what they'll say to you is, we'll remove it from your credit report, especially if you're on the phone running your mouth with them and telling them, I'm trying to repair my credit. What they'll do is they'll say, we'll remove it from your credit report if you pay the full amount. So if you're trying to restore your credit, then you may be more apt to pay the full amount to get that done. I'm going to still say to you now, don't do that. I'm going to say to you now, you got to weigh which one is more important to you. Is the credit report and the credit score more important to you? I mean, if they'll remove it and your credit score is going to go from, a 680 to maybe a 750, put you in excellent, and now you're going to close on a house and get a 3.85% rate versus the 5.85% rate, then do it. But you've got to weigh the options out for you, what's going to be best for you in those circumstances. So here's what I do when it comes to collections. We owe them $1,000. We'll call them and offer $300. Yep, it's a whole $700 difference. We're only offering 30% of what the bill says that we owe. Offer them 30%. Most likely, the person on the phone that you get is the, first pass, if you will. They're the gatekeeper, and they can only maybe negotiate off 25% of the bill. So they be like, nope, we can't take $300. That's ridiculous. So maybe they'll come down and they'll offer you, if they can take off 25%, they'll offer you $750 for it. Don't take that offer. Don't take the first offer from them. I know it's difficult. I know it might be contentious for some people. Some people might be fearful of doing that. You don't like confrontation and what have you. Don't take that first offer. You tell them, I don't have $750. If I had $750, I would have offered you $750. I have $300 for this particular debt. And then they'll say, well, we just can't do that. I'm sorry. We can't do that amount. So then you say, okay, maybe I can come up with a couple of $100 more. Maybe I can do something else. Don't say it like that. I'm sorry. Don't say I can come up with a couple $100 more. So maybe I can come up with some more money. So I can do $444. So they're at $750. You're at $444. Why $444? Simply because you want to give them the impression that you're actually thinking about this number, that you're actually counting your dollars. You want them to feel like you are on the other line with $20 bills spread out across your bed, and you're trying to figure this out. That's what you want them to feel like. That's an odd number. If you just throw out, I'll do another $150. So, that's, it's like you have some more money laying around somewhere. If you can just, it's an even number. If it just happens to be an even number. So you want to say, I got 444. And then if they come back and say no, which if they're the first person on the phone, they may not have that authority to take it. They say no. Then ask for a supervisor, or ask them to go ask their supervisor. They go ask their supervisor. Supervisor will look at the account. They may take it. They may come back with another offer. So as long as they're coming back with additional offers, it's going down, and that's in your favor. Because remember, you owe them $1,000. You actually owe them $1,000 supposedly. So you need to make sure that you're following through and thinking of that when you're talking to them. So you offer $444, they're at $750. Supervisor comes back and says, we can't take $444, we'll take $600. It's up to you if you want to take it. Your negotiation probably is really pretty much over at that point. Now, if they come back and say the supervisor says no, you ask to speak to the supervisor, him or herself. You want to speak to them directly. And I tell you why. This is all psychological, people. So it's easy. It's absolutely easy for someone to say no to you through someone else. The supervisors are tough, rugged, negative, and all those things when they don't have to deal with the customers personally. And they don't have to deal with them personally. But when they get on the phone with you, they could be a pussycat. You never know. You never know. So they could, or they could be a stickler. They could be hardball. They absolutely could. It happens often that they could. Maybe it's a 50-50 chance. But you want to go ahead and talk to that supervisor. And then tell them, look, I really only had $300. I have recalculated, and I'm sitting here in front of, looking at my bills and the other collections that I owe, because I can call somebody else and pay them versus, instead of paying you, because I owe other people, and pay them this money. But I could do $444 for you. And if they say no still, and they, maybe they'll negotiate down. If they do come down to $600, go ahead and take the deal. And it's got to come off your credit report. Now, if they start balking, don't wait till the last minute to tell them about, and you wanted to come off your credit report. You throw that out up front. You wanted to come off your credit report. So if they agree to it and you agree on a date, even if it's that day, you need to pay it that day. You say, okay, you get everybody's name. everybody's name. You want the supervisor's name. You want the person you talked to in the first place name. You want their ID number. You want to note the time of day. And then you want to ask them to send it to you in writing what they're going to do, because you want to make sure that they hold up their end of the bargain. They need to send that to you in writing. Oftentimes they'll balk. They won't do it, or they'll say, yeah, we'll send you out a letter or whatever. That's going to take, who knows how long, how many days that'll take. But you want them to send you a letter, and you're willing, if they're not going to say anything about it, to give them an email address. Don't give them your work email address. You got a personal email address. Give them an email address. Say they can send it to there. And then say, I will pay when I get my letter saying, stating that you're going to remove it from my credit report, and here's the amount. This is basically my receipt. And say, look, I watch a lot of Judge Judy, and Judge Judy said get a receipt for everything that I do. So I need a receipt from you saying, here's what the deal is. And if they balk at it, then maybe you have to move on. But that's how you want to handle a collection. And I don't care if it's a collection that's $16,000 or if it's a collection that's $600. You want to deal with it in the same way, in the same manner. Now, if it's a big collection in the 16 grand and it's old or what have you, and part of that 16 grand is just like fees and all this kind of stuff that they just tack on to you, then you may even be able to get more off. So you don't want to have a $16,000 collection and end up paying $11,000 of it. You want to pay $4,000 or $5,000 of a $16,000 collection if that's the case. And when it comes to something that big, who cares if it comes off your credit report? As long as you if you pay $5,000 for a $16,000 collection, you saved $11,000. That's bigger than what's happening with your credit report. Because you can contact me, the 800 Credit Score Man, and I can give you the positive things to help increase your credit score. So contact me, 800@creditscoreman.com. You got that, 800@creditscoreman.com. I can help you with negotiations and things of that nature. So, man, I've been running my mouth. We're not doing the question of the day today. So, let's do this. Let me tell you this part first before I move on to medical collections, and I'm gonna kind of keep it short and sweet. So let me tell you this part. So when it comes to your collections and getting things off, here's what has happened. The newer versions of FICO 8 and 9, when it comes to your collections, once you pay them zero, it may not matter at all to your score if it comes off your credit report. Before, you had to get it off your credit report like we just discussed in detail. You had to get it off your credit report to make it look like it was never there to really help your score. But the newer versions, 8 and 9, it may not have to come off at all, no matter what it is. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is that you never know what the lender, whatever lender you go to get whatever, furniture, cars, mortgages, you never know if they're using 8, 9, or if they're back using 3. 8 and 9 actually didn't quote unquote sell as good as earlier versions because all of these places have to pay for the upgrades. It's not like your cell phone where, you got an iPhone and they, doing an upgrade. You don't have to pay for it. All of these places have to pay for upgrades. And some places are stuck on 3, 4, and 5 version of FICO and not on 8 or 9. So that's the problem with it. So this causes you to have like different credit scores. So you'll think if you're getting your FICO 9 from, one of your credit cards and they're telling you have a 700 score, and then you go somewhere else and they pull it and you have a 610 score, you're wondering what in the world is going on. Maybe that person that is on 610 maybe they're using an old version of FICO. There's nothing you can do about that. So you want to get it off your credit report. You absolutely want to do that. All right, so let me jump to these medical. Let me get these shout outs right quick and done. So Hector King, yes, it's not a show without a king getting a shout out. That's my cousin, celebrates a birthday. David C. Jones, one of my frat brothers, that's how you got to say his name. He celebrates a birthday. Happy birthday to you, David C. Jones. Brian Broadnax celebrates a birthday as well. Dr. Jerry Browning, who is also one of my frat brothers, celebrated his birthday yesterday, I think. Today, yes, today is Elizabeth White's birthday. Loving Life with Liz. You guys pick her up. Check her out. Check her out. Follow her on Twitter. Loving Life with Liz. Liz White celebrates her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. My man Terrence Lyles, he celebrates a birthday. Rodney Robinson. Rodney Robinson is one of my frat brothers and a really, really good friend of mine. We go way back. We go way, way back. Rodney Robinson celebrating a birthday coming up. And my man Philip Davenport II. He's celebrating a birthday as well coming up. So happy birthday to you, Philip. Philip has his own line of cigars. So you guys